So, it looks like we are about to enter another summer of love. You know, we wouldn't be going through this right now if Kamala Harris had won. No, it's true. If the Democrats get their way, these riots don't spring up. When the Democrats don't get their way, all of a sudden respect for democracy goes right out the window. You know? Gone. None. Zero. Zip zilch. Nada. They want to fight. And you have some pretty prominent left-wing news outlets out there, from Mother Jones and on, talking about how we are on the edge of civil war as a nation. This while you have representatives, former representatives, like that dirtbag Adam Kinzinger, saying that Gavin Newsom should stand up California's National Guard against the federalized troops in California. So in other words, he's saying we should have civil war because that's exactly what civil war is. Now, I know a lot of people out there who don't really recognize this, think that, nothing bad could ever happen here. And I want you to pretend that you read a history book once and hearken back to the Battle of Bull Run. The Battle of Bull Run was technically the second battle in the Civil War, right? It was a ground battle, north and south. And no one really took it seriously. They thought it was going to be, a standoff, some yelling, some cursing, and that'd be about it. So they brought picnic baskets to watch the battle. And when the battle kicked off, everyone was horrified, shocked, as the Union forces were routed by the extremely determined and serious Southern forces. The people there fled for their lives in terror, because holy shit, the thing that we all believed could not happen just happened. This is serious shit. Now look, what the administration is doing is not illegal. Removing illegal invaders from the country is not only within the federal government's purview, it's within their responsibilities. Now, I know that your last potato in chief really didn't care too much about his responsibilities to the country. He just kind of focused on, his son and whatever money he could extract from around the world with some really exquisite paintings his son did after he got kicked off the board. Not for smoking crack or anything, just, I don't know how he got the job smoking crack on the board, but I digress. What's happening is what should be happening. This country is for Americans. Americans are not white people. They're not black people. They're not Mexican people. They're not Asian people. They're Americans. Now, they happen to be all of those things, but it's not a racial issue. I think, personally, that every ounce of resource and tax collected in this country should go towards Americans whose ancestors paid into the system and built the country should benefit from. The people that live here. We have places like Flint, Michigan, or places in PA, or places in California that are like zombie apocalypse land. You have people dying of overdoses constantly all over the streets, living in filth and squalor and poverty. Do you know that they detected bubonic plague in California not so long ago? I mean, before they burnt down Los Angeles last time, before they allowed that to happen. That's how on the edge of fucking, third world we are. But most of us don't realize it because we live away from it. You live out in the suburbs, or you live out in the countryside. Understand that what happens in the city will have a ripple effect outward, and it won't be a good one. It really won't be. So my point is this: the left, the extreme left, needs to stand the fuck down. All right? They need to pull their heads out of their asses and understand that what's happening here is democracy in motion. The people overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump to do exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Period. As Gavin Newsom would say, full stop. That's it. Period. You lost an election. Shut the fuck up. Trying not to get heated about this, but the sheer irresponsible, self-righteous nature of people on the left today, it infuriates me a little bit. Now, I do count myself as a Christian, okay? And I want to be soft-hearted to my fellow man, whether they are illegal immigrants or American citizens. I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody. I want everyone to continue living as good a life as they possibly can without stealing from their neighbors to fund it. Okay? That's what I want. But hear me and hear me well. Alright? Done my fighting for the country. I have absolutely no interest in doing it again. None whatsoever. I'm an old man. I am closer to 50 than I am to 20. Okay? I survived all that. I'm happy that I did. I'm grateful that I did. Through, no effort of my own alone. Alright? God was with me in that stuff, and He put me in the right places at the right time so that I didn't become pink mist in a memory, and I'm extremely grateful for that. I don't want to roll the dice again. Now, mark me, if you guys on the left, alright, if you think you're going to kick this shit off, if Gavin Newsom thinks he's going to stand up his National Guard, if you guys think you're going to have a civil war and it's going to be like Call of Duty or some shit, I got news for you. There's no respawning and there's no ROEs here. I mean, really, really think about that. If your self-righteous ignorance endangers my daughter or my son or my wife, put it to you like this: the last words that come out of your mouth before I lay eyes on you had better be poetic, because they'll probably be on your tombstone. Not fucking around with this. You guys are playing a really, really dangerous game, and you're forcing the rest of us to play it with you. And if you force me off the bench, and you force my brothers off the bench, there are no rules of engagement. You can forget about that. There is no law of war. There is no gentlemanly conduct. There's none of that. This is really serious shit, and it seems like we're just kind of lollygagging into it, like it's not serious. You understand how serious it is if Gavin Newsom stands up his National Guard, or tries to resist federal forces here in the United States? Illegally, by the way. Right? Because these forces are Title 10, the federal troops. Which means they're federal troops now. They're active duty military by all accounts. They're paid like active duty military. This is really serious. Alright? And all they're trying to do is get rid of people that legally, and I know no one's above the law, I guess, except for illegal aliens, like Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris, and anyone that has a D next to their name or is willing to vote for someone with a D next to their name. No one's above the law, right? Except for them. And that's the other thing. The left, they don't think you're stupid, they know it. They do. I'm talking about their voters. Because some of the shit you guys believe is just straight off the diving board, no water in the pool, fucking stupid. Stupid. The shit you guys ignore proves to me that you're at least complicit in it, in peddling stupidity. We all know why California is a sanctuary state. We all get it. Because of the census, right? They want these people here because they fought really hard to keep the immigration question off the census, so that they could gain themselves seats in the House and Congress, so they could gain power. That's all it is. If you made it so that illegals couldn't be counted on the census, right now, today, the Democrats would be down 20 seats. 20 plus seats. You're willing to go to war over that. Buckle up, Cupcake. It's not going to be fun. It's not Call of Duty. There are no respawns. None of that shit. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And believe me, if you force me up off the bench, I'll do everything in my power to make sure that it is. That's all. I'm done.